Good afternoon, ladies. So I am going to get started with today's live, which I wanted to do on basically how to sort of maintain your momentum over Christmas and not go completely off track, and how not to feel like you just want to hit that kind of sod it button, and feel like you've just got rid of all your progress, because it doesn't have to be like that at all. So this is just a simple, compassionate way to enjoy Christmas without sort of completely go off the rails, basically. Um, so just remember as well, just because it's Christmas, it doesn't mean that this time is a complete write-off. So we're mostly focusing on staying on track, not being perfect. And the really important thing to remember as well is, if you have been eating healthily and exercising for the rest of the year, these few days, because it's not like it's an entire month, if you really look at it, it is just a few days where you've got various festivities going on. Those are not going to completely undo all your progress. Even if you gain a couple of kilos, you can still, come back to your good habits after the new year, and that is not the end of the world. So small, consistent habits are going to see you just still get a really big payoff in January. And also remember as well, even if you do put on a few kilos, you're not going to lose all the muscle that you have gained working out and doing all those great strength training workouts up until now. And you can very easily just come back to your plan in January, not having gone too far off track. And also, enjoying food is a massive part of being with family and having fun with family. We should be able to really enjoy this time and actually be able to enjoy all the lovely food that is on offer over Christmas without guilt. Because actually, when you think of it, a lot of it is quite healthy. We eat meat, we eat loads of veggies, you can have loads of fruits, nuts. It's not all about the puddings, the pastries. You can have smoked salmon and eggs for breakfast. This is all great stuff. This is all stuff that is still very nourishing, very good, and also delicious. So I've put together a 5 simple Christmas habits framework for you, with some really simple habits that you can choose to use. You don't have to do all of them. You could even just do a few of them. And these are going to really help you stay on track over Christmas, still feel nourished, still feel energized, and hopefully still get some of your workouts and some movement in, even if it doesn't look perfect. So the number one habit, which we've been talking about a little bit this week in our WhatsApp group again, is smart hydration. Really staying hydrated. So if, I know there's lots of work drinks and friend get-togethers, mums from school, etc., etc. When you're out, I mean, if you're abstaining from alcohol, that's amazing. But let's face it, the majority of us are not. So just try and use this habit, which is have a glass of water between each alcoholic drink. And try not to be tempted also by that, I'll just have that last one more. Because I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely been fallen victim to this in the past. It is that last one that just tips you over the edge and just goes from you've been a little bit merry to you're full on, feeling absolutely awful the next day. So enjoy your drinks, have your drinks. Just remember to, alcoholic drink, glass of water, alcoholic drink, glass of water. And another thing I've started doing as I've got older is doing something which my dad always used to say to me when I was younger, is to start with something light, like a white wine spritzer. You could have that with like diet lemonade, you could have it with diet soda, you could even have things like a, diet G&T. Start light. And then if you're going to move on to heavier stuff like red wine with your dinner, etc., just go easy, but still enjoy it without guilt. When you're not out and about, you can just have those water bottles handy. Again, this is something we've been talking about in the group this week. It really is so much easier to stay on track with your water goals when you've got a water bottle. And also, tea does count. So tea and coffee, you're still making it with water. Obviously, coffee can have a bit of can have a diuretic effect. So I try and personally limit my coffees to the morning, maximum two. I have one shortly afterwards. I normally have another one, but then that is it. In the afternoon, switch to tea, and then later on, as one of my ladies was saying as well, you switch to herbal tea later in the evening. And I quite often, late at night, when you're sort of sitting on the sofa thinking, I could maybe have a little snacky about now, but I'm like, I don't actually need it. I just want something kind of comforting. And I personally have chamomile tea with a little bit of honey. So find something that you like, make a little routine, and just keep hitting those, trying to hit those water goals. Habit two is very like simple meal decisions. So we might have lots of meals out. We might be eating out with family, with friends. You might have like a work do. I would try and stick to either having a starter and a main course, or a main course and a dessert, not all of them. And you can still go for options there, which are, sometimes even if you're having like a creamy dish, you could get a green side salad so that you can make sure you still get, you're not having just, I mean, who wants to go out for a meal and have a salad? That's just really sad, personally, I think that. But you could have a side salad or side veggies, and you just make sure that way that you're still getting your nutrients. Still try and think about, what am I eating? Am I still actually getting something that's quite nourishing? If I'm not, if I'm out and it's quite a creamy pasta dish, for example, is there something else I can order that's gonna help me still hit my nutrition goals and fill myself up a little bit more with some veg while still having this delicious thing? And also, I know it's really tempting when you're out to finish everything on your plate because you've paid for it, but try not to just finish it for the sake of finishing it. There's a really good concept, I think it's a Japanese concept, where you basically just eat until you're 80% full. So again, you still get to enjoy it, but don't feel like you have to, just because you're going out and you're paying for it, you have to polish off every last morsel. And also you can try and prioritize, for example, if you're eating out and about, prioritize eating the protein and the veg on the plate first. If it comes with a huge side of chips or roast potatoes, etc., you can, again, don't not eat them, still enjoy them, just don't eat those. Prioritize the things that you know are actually going to nourish you and fill you up and give you some nutritional value, or give you the most nutritional value first. So it's really just still having in mind that concept of filling like at least a third to a half of your plate with protein, and then the other part with colour, with your fruits, veg, with your sort of healthy fibre, whole grains as well, and just keeping that balance in mind. And like I say, if it isn't delivered via, Italian food, I'm just thinking of Italian food as an example, huge plates of creamy pasta, like I said, you can always order a side of veg. You don't have to finish that entire bowl or plate of pasta. You can eat a little bit of that side salad or veg as well. Habit three is going to be, and I know again, this is something I talk about, actually scheduling in your workouts, your actual workouts. So that's whether you're doing my program, strength training, whether you're just doing stuff online somewhere else, whether you're going to a class. Try and schedule them in. Look at your whole calendar, spend a bit of time, maybe dedicate one day at the beginning of the month to actually looking at your calendar in December. Look at when you've got all your events, and you'll see actually that you still have a large proportion of the month left that is normal days where you can fit stuff in, and you can still eat normally, eat well at home, and you can actually schedule in your workouts. Try and get at least one per week that is non-negotiable. You could try and schedule in two, but make one absolutely non-negotiable. Just one per week. So that should hopefully be doable. Try and, if it's 20 to 30 minutes, that's absolutely fine. As for those of you that are doing my program, most of the workouts are around about 30 minutes. You can find plenty of other stuff online that's, 20 minutes. I can always write some extra stuff for you that's a little bit shorter if you think even 30 minutes is going to be hard, and just make that non-negotiable. So don't make it a maybe, don't make it a sort of, just if I have time. It really is an actual diary commitment. And then think about the other days where movement could happen, where you could fit it in. Perhaps it's a day where you're going to be working from home, the kids are going to be there, you could go out for a lunchtime walk, a pre-dinner walk, a bike ride, go to the swimming pool one morning, and think about any other days where movement can happen. And again, that might even just be a 10-minute mobility stretch, like little stretch, little bit of movement, doesn't have to be much. 10 minutes, 15 minutes still counts. So this is just flexible, low pressure wins. So I really would encourage you, if you don't do anything else, try and do this part where you look at that diary and you actually map it out and you identify those days where you're going to be out. Think about again how we can apply some of those habits there, how you can, like, have your water between your drinks, order sort of sensibly but still enjoy. But then also reassure yourself by looking at all those other days that you have still got at home, that you have still got where you can fit in your movement. Focus on getting your hitting your nutrition goals at home. So instead of just hoping to try and fit some stuff in still, you actually plan it. You actually plan it out. And once it's in the calendar, once it's written down, you have already removed what we call like decision fatigue, where in the moment you're like, trying to think about what to do, what to eat, what to do. You've already done it. So you've already got over one of the biggest hurdles. So we're on to habit 4 already, which again is just prioritizing simple everyday movement. So once the one workout per week is secured and set in your diary, just focus on really, like I said, really simple movement wins. Now that could be your post-meal walks. Even if you just walk around the block a couple of times, that's going to be like 5 to 10 minutes. And it's like research, science shows it now. This does make a difference in your post-meal blood sugar, in your energy levels. And then also makes a difference to you kind of like crashing back down after your meal and then, those cravings kind of rushing back in again. So, like I said, great for digestion and also for avoiding that slight I don't know about anyone else, but that kind of cabin fever feeling that we can get over Christmas, which actually just where you're just indoors for days and days at a time, perhaps with family and friends driving you a bit bananas. And that alone just can start making you feel really sluggish and lethargic. And then when you feel like that, you're going to be reaching for the chocolates that are there to give you a little boost. So even just by doing something as simple as whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, if you do it after everyone, great. And also just little, like I said, little short movement sessions, little short stretching and mobility sessions, 10 to 15 minutes. I've got a couple on my YouTube channel now. You've got a couple in the app that I would definitely schedule in with the workouts over the Christmas period. Think about doing simple things like taking the lift instead of the stairs instead of the lift. If you're commuting into work still, walk up those escalators. Don't just stand there, okay? Walk, take the escalator or take the steps, not the escalator. Take the stairs, not the lift. Get up, have a little walk around at lunchtime after. I know it's tempting to kind of just sit at your desk and eat your lunch. Even if it's 10 minutes, get up, move around, get out of the office, go and have a little walk around the block after your lunch, walk to the shops and back, and just think about how you can work in little kind of movement snacks throughout the day. That could be doing like, sometimes we do, let's like, if you've got a work from home day, you could go, right, I'm just going to do 50 squats today. So after breakfast, boom, 10, done. Mid-morning, 10. After lunch, 10. Mid-afternoon, before bed, boom, done. You've done 50 squats in a day. Again, still better than nothing. And also think about, are there any sort of more active family festive traditions that you can introduce, such as, like a kind of post-Christmas dinner bike ride or walk, perhaps like an evening and Christmas Eve neighbourhood walk to Christmas lights, or a Boxing Day family bike ride. Or maybe you kind of drive out somewhere to the countryside. Even in London, we're super close to kind of countries, like lots of like country parks and things. Go out for like a New Year's Day mini hike or like discovery walk. Even just getting everybody out the house for just like half an hour is just like so good for your sanity, for your mental health and your physical health as well. And this is really going to just help reduce stress, reduce that cabin fever, break up those long, long days inside. And it's also modeling really simple, healthy habits for your kids as well. And finally, habit number 5 is try not to just graze on all the bits and bobs that you may have around throughout the day. So it's like habit 5 is don't graze, make a plate. Okay, so again, it's just being aware of portions. So I think one of my friends now wife mentioned that they sometimes just have like bowls of Lindor around over Christmas. Okay, or in our house it would be Ferrero Rocher. Make yourself aware of just how many calories is in one of those things. I can't tell you off the top of my head. I didn't have a chance to look it up beforehand. Just be aware. Okay. So if you're going to have them again, don't have them. Don't just graze on them out of the bowl throughout the day, mindlessly taking them. Have them after you've had your proper meal as well, because that immediately makes a difference, because you're going to be full already. So you're still going to be able to enjoy them, still enjoy all those lovely treats, but you're not going to overeat them if you are already full from having had a proper meal or a proper snack. So don't let yourself get hungry. Eat your proper meals still, have the treats, but make yourself a plate of them. Make yourself a bowl. For example, when I give my kids sweets, we have a little bowl and I just have a little portion. So you're not just eating out of the bag. That is just one of the biggest downfalls. And that is where you're going to start overeating things. Sit down, enjoy it, and then move away. Okay. So, like I said, this just really, really stops unconscious overeating with no restriction. So, just going over like how many days are actually festive and how many days are kind of normal days. So coming back to that point of like reassuring yourself by, so those are our main habits, but now we're just going to kind of close off by actually like sitting down at some point after this and have a look at how many of those days are like in December are actually festive days, i.e. parties, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve. Normally it might be around about 6 to 8 days, maybe 10 days max. So count up all those normal remaining days and just focus, like have a look at those days, reassure yourself by looking at the number of days where you've still got quite a lot of control over what's going on. And hopefully this will show you really that you're not going to be off track for an entire month. An entire month is not lost. You are literally just going to be perhaps off track for a handful of days. And what really matters is that you still continue to show up for yourself on all those normal days. So this is going to really just help remove that element of kind of panic and guilt and all or nothing thinking. I'm going to stop there because I need to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay, so just to finish up, a little bit of reassurance. So, a couple of indulgent meals is not going to undo all your progress. A couple of indulgent days or evenings, even, is not going to undo all your progress. You don't need to earn your food or burn it off afterwards. Okay, you just need to follow some of these habits to focus on, not even all of them. And I promise you, January will feel very, very different when you've stayed even 50 to like 70% consistent. So I hope that was helpful. Excuse the sneezing. I did actually have my Christmas earrings on as well. I meant to mention this at the beginning. I put on, but this background keeps cutting them off. So I had my Christmas earrings on and a nice festive top for this session, just to start getting in the festive mood. So I'll sit on for a few minutes in case there are any questions, but if not, I will see you next time.